By Sibawa. Let me take you through the sound world of Lisabi. From the script, it was already like, okay, we have to be intentional about this. We have to be intentional about the power of your people. We have to be intentional about how scared the Egba people were of Oyo. We have to be intentional about the sound. We have to be intentional about the change, the revolt. We have to be intentional about when things started to like, okay, we are done with this. So it was already like a timeline of this sound needs to grow, not just that gleam. So we had to start heavy because for the first like 10 or so minutes, there was no dialogue. Yeah, close to 10 minutes, there was no dialogue. So we needed to start heavy. And there's no way you watch the beginning that you won't fear the king. So I had to come up with a sound that will interpret well different emotions. One, the emotions felt by the Oyo fighters, that's the Oyo people, and the emotions felt by the Egba people. Now, these are two different emotions. Now, from the Oyo people, they felt power. They felt we are on top of these people. And then there was torment in between. And then the Egba people were the one feeling the pain. So that's how I came up with Iyanu, my friend. We spoke together after all the rehearsals and everything. We came up with a scale. Now the scale in Iyanu voice, she needed to sound pained and emotional. Then, and I had to like sandwich that voice in between a lot of power, a lot of, and that's how it came about this sound. This sound. Now, if you listen to that, if you isolate her voice, you can hear that, oh, she's feeling a lot of pain. This is so bad, somebody is dying. Then in the world of the other instruments surrounding it, you can feel the power passing on to the next person, the power to do and undo. And that's how we came up with that sound.
For the theme sound for Lisabi and his friend Shokeno, we mostly just interpreted the song that they sing to each other in the film, which is Oregidi Loremi. When you watch the film, you will notice at different points the Oregidi Loremi sound, would come when Lisabi and his friend are, having a dialogue or having a moment. You will always find that tune come back over and over.
From the beginning, I entered the theme. Just a little, I stopped. In the middle, it started to grow. It started to grow. And then when he was getting married and he sang the song himself, I now played the full thing. So that you know that, oh, that's why we've been hinting this sound right from the beginning. And then when he was going to die, and then the friend was there holding him, the sound gradually died off with him. There was a pace to the sound all through the movie until he was going to die. At the point where he was going to die, I slowed everything down. So it became poro, po, po, pororo. Now in the movie, from the beginning, yeah, do 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 do, happy moment, do 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 do. Then the folk part of the do 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 do. All that was very happy. Everybody felt like, oh, this is the sound. And then when he was going to die, the song started coming with all the themes that played for them before. Now, there was a theme playing when they were going to the farm. There was a theme playing when he was just getting married. And the combination of those 2 or 3 themes with the sound Oregidi Oloemi was what slowed down when he was going to die. So this was the theme. So this was the theme for where they were at the farm. I'm playing it again to remind you they did this farm together, they did everything together. Now he's dead. So I'm replaying all those sounds together but slower and fuller. Yeah. So it will lead to the rain first, and the rain will be alone. Can you see? You see? Stop together. Can you see? So now the rain. No need for any sound. Then the few seconds silence follow. Total silence. So normally you look at a cloud is flowing, so let's put the sound of the cloud. No, we are mourning Shokenu.
So fast forward to when, guys started getting together and say, we can't take this anymore. Then we started seeing the introduction of the forces behind Lisabi himself. That was when we started feeling a bit more darkness, on the ambient sounds, the choice of drones that I used, the choice of, sound effects that I used. We started feeling a bit more darkness when Lisabi started bringing men together and bringing the spirits, to empower these people.
But then when Eye came in, Eye is special. Eye is Eye. So we had to create a moment for Eye inside our montage. Now, we want you to be able to hear that Eye is speaking, not just her voice. These are their voices. We didn't add anything to it. Just mix on reverb, combination of reverbs, and drowning it in strings. Now listen, the montage is still playing though, to come back up now. You hear the montage now. It's there, it's just very low. But if you are listening, you see. They hear her voice now.
Tí dada bèbè bá lù àfẹ́kù. Tí dada bèbè bá lù àfẹ́kù.
Can you hear we made those sounds from the sounds of some string breaks. Because of course Eye is not normal. For dialogue, I started with I don't want the regular sound. I don't want to lose depth. I don't want to by force cut away my 200 hertz because I want it to be audible in the mix. I want the king to have the depth. I want Lisabi himself to have the depth. I want key actors to retain their depth. I don't want the regular mix where all the depths are gone. if I'm going to set examples, we watch RRR, we watch the Indian films. They retain their depths. I'm not even talking about Nollywood. A lot of time Nollywood, or Hollywood rather, a lot of time Hollywood don't retain depths. They just record and it's always very good. But if you listen to Nollywood, when the main actor talks, there's a thing, there's a presence you feel in his voice. Niyi. It's different from when the other guy say Niyi. You hear like they are saying the same thing, but it doesn't sound the same. So I try to retain the voice, the depth of the king, depth of Lisabi, and a lot of the clarity of the dialogue in general. So I spoke to Dotun. I said, Dotun, this is different. This is what we need to do. I mean, at first he raised concern that, don't you think there will be clash of frequencies? I'm like, okay, I mean, we are all going to do that together. But the first thing is to say this is what we want, and then the next step will be how to achieve it.
We started from going on set, like myself and my colleague Tolu and Adam, to ensure that from my side to ensure that the dialogue is well recorded. So I was majorly with Mr. Bode on set, using the monitor, one of his monitors, to monitor the recording of the dialogue and also to ensure that I don't encounter some difficulties in post. So, and at the same time, we were looking at after reading the script, we also focused on the emotions of the actors on set, so that we use that to create our sound when we get back. Now, getting into the post-production now, the first thing I did from my hand, according to the instruction from my friend and also my HOD Tolu Obanro, is to ensure that the dialogue for all the major cast has enough depth, so that we don't lose their depth, so that at the end of the day we won't have to treat their voices much before it comes out well, and we're able to achieve that. Now, this particular scene was recorded around 2-3 a.m. in the morning, and a lot of people were outside talking, and their voices was in the mics, in the boom mic. So now, normally I could have used the boom mic in some cases here, but because of their voice and everything, and I have to use the mics of each of the actors here. Then we created the crowd noise in post separately, so that we won't have to say, oh, we're doing ADR or anything for any actor, because I used boom mic and there was noise in it and they couldn't be cleaned and all. So we created the crowd noise separately. I used the mics of the individual actors here. Now, all those voices you are hearing, hey, we recorded it separately. So that's why if you listen to Chattah, you hear his voice very. But I use his mic. And in most cases, because of his costume, and the mic is on him, because of his costume, there might be glitches in the mic and all, but I was able to, overcome all those challenges without anyone noticing that. And in the QC, there was no complaint about that. Everything was perfect. So a lot of people might not really know how we got to achieve this, but that was what we did to ensure. Because if we're going to use the boom mic, I won't get the depth of his voice the way it is here.
For Lisabi being epic, some of the things that we needed to be organic. So we bought mats, we bought baskets, like local baskets, you see them in the Foley room. We bought local baskets, and then we brought a big tarpaulin of sand, just sand, where I had to, apart from recording while watching the film, I had to record random footsteps on sand and on dry leaves and all that stuff, just so that I can have the grittiness of sand for every time someone falls on the floor, for every time someone jumps or someone is walking. That grittiness of the sand needed to be real. It needed to feel like the audience listening and watching are actually in that space mentally. You understand? So the first sound effect that I needed to work on was creating that sand and gritty and organic feel of a local village, you get. So that was number one. The other one that is very special to me was when I created the sound effect for his whip. When he was whipping his sickle, he called out the magic sickle, and he was, he had a very long rope with it. So I needed to create and I didn't want to use something that was, I didn't want to use, anything that was, just picked from a library online. So I had to use my mouth now. I had to use my mouth with a Zoom recorder to make that. I did it slowly and then sped up the speed on the computer, sped up the speed, did a bit of EQ to it, and then layered it with other sounds. The sounds that you'll be hearing are also sounds of wind, just sound of wind. The sound of wind is like water. It's just straight. You can bend it to anything. So with my automations, I don't know if I can paint the picture for you, but with automation, I had to automate the volumes so that the wind doesn't feel like a straight line. It feels like a wave instead of just. So it feels like a wave. So coupled with the sound of the whip whoosh that I was doing, with some other stuff that I layered with it, it gave me that. And then we got into the slow-mo, and then I slowed it down again. At first I paced the tempo, and then I slowed it down again, and then and then it throws it. So creating that effect for me was beautiful.
As soon as I was on set, every actor in their character were already telling themselves Baisibawa. That started giving me ideas. Okay, this seemed like a key phrase. I asked questions. What was Baisiba? Say it can be greeting, or it can be a way of identification that these are Igba people. It can be so many things. It can be like Showa Muwa, Baisibawa. That's a good phrase. And then the director also said, Mr. Niyi also said, Baisibawa is a major thing for our music. We cannot just. So I felt okay. I must have 4 or so Baisibawas made songs in the whole of Lisabi. And so for the end credit, I decided okay, who doesn't do jazz that is 6/8 with Baisibawa? In the beginning, I said, why not do a 7/8? Nobody will see that coming. Dun 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 dun. Baisi. Bawa. Dun 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 dun. That is 7/8. I was I'm going for it. I brought in the drummers, please play 7/8. It was not working. I took him, I said, bing, 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 and it came out nice. Then for the end, I was there's nothing wrong with doing a 6/8 jazz. That you did the 10, 10, 10, 10, bawa. I played live bass. We had to play live bass. That would be live bass inside Epic. Sure, we're okay. But we had the freedom to do anything, and it came out well. Now let me go to the Baisibawa that is my favorite. My favorite Baisibawa song is We All Agree. Banana, banana, papara, filari. Odun. Tis of filari. Banana.
Ló bá wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ìgbà méjì níyàn. Bí kò bá ní báyìí sí, kejì à máa pé.
Everything on time. So this is my favorite Baisibawa song. They are more shall go and watch the movie 6 more times. Then with sound in mind. Watch it for the film, watch it for the actors, watch it for everything, and then now settle down. Call everybody and watch for sound. Thank you.